So, now that we're done taming the Spinosaurus, I'd kind of like to get back to work on the park. Welcome back everyone to Create Dinosaurs, where our park here is actually kind of starting to feel like one. Like, it's actually beginning to feel like a proper theme park. You know, we've got our Spinosaurus building here, we have the main visitor center, we've got nice little entrances to other parts of the park. It's feeling good, and I'd like to continue that. And I think there's several things which we could do in order to expand the park. The first of which is being like add a bunch of paths over here and sort of connect up a bunch of stuff around this area. Because of course right now our paths come up to here and stuff, but then it doesn't really follow the Spinosaurus enclosure round, and like it just ends and loops back around here. Because at the end of the day, despite how long this series has gone, we actually have very few dinosaurs. So, you know, a path going off this way and stuff and some enclosure plans around here, that could probably do quite well, especially in connecting up the aviary. Alternatively, there is this comment on screen which I will pop up right now, where someone suggested that we get an arthropleura. And I'll be honest, I had to look up what one of those is, but basically it kind of seems like a massive trilobite sort of thing. Which, if that is what it is, I am absolutely all in for that, because I would love something like that. Yeah, here we go, arthropleura. It was in my chat. And that comment actually gave me the idea of a building which we could put here. Or maybe just here, but I feel like there's a better location, especially since I really need something to go here. And that building idea is a bug house. So, you know when you go to the zoo and they always have like those tropical animals or something, it will be like some massive insects or snakes or something. Imagine that, but instead of it being little boxes, it's massive boxes, because everything that's prehistoric is massive. That feels like a really fun idea. Now, it does mean I'm gonna need to do some research, because I don't entirely know what all of these things are. Like, a Dimetrodon kind of looks like something which I think was in the most recent Jurassic World movie. But it doesn't look like the sort of thing we could put in a bug house. That kind of looks like a weird newt thing. That's definitely a bug, and like some of these are definitely bugs. Some of them look like they're ground and some of them look like they're flying. And all in all, I just don't know much about any of them. So I think what I'd like to do today is, first of all, start out by doing that first thing. We're gonna put a path over here, and it's not really gonna go anywhere. It's not gonna mark anything out, because I don't know what I might put over here yet. But it at least gives me some time to work on something, and also think about what we could do for this bug building over there. So yeah, as for what I am thinking about this path right now, probably it's gonna remain somewhat level with this, and I think I'm not too intent on like having any enclosures over here. Like, sort of having this as the perimeter of the park kind of makes sense, and like we could add a dinosaur in future, but it's not in my plan. Because also what it does is it leaves this sort of nice area open to put a fairly decent sized enclosure. But like, it's a good connecting point. It feels like it's gonna work. Also, that building looks really nice on the world map. I have never realized how good that looks. So yeah, I think I'm sort of gonna curve the path around this way and stuff, and we might lead it to the aviary, but I'm gonna just sort of leave it untouched for now, mostly. Because my biggest issue with the aviary is just like, it's a very fragile build and stuff. Like, it would not take much to make it look really weird. So for now, I am much preferring to just leave it untouched. So yeah, I'm gonna need to go and smelt a bunch more of this smooth stone and stuff, and whilst I am building that path, I'm gonna research some stuff about bugs. So yeah, let's get to work. Velociraptor, it's another trilobite-like thing. Go to harpies? Yeah, kind of another trilobite thing. Meganeura. Yeah, it's a big fly. Arthropleura. Yes, big trilobite-like thing. Diplocaulus. What the heck is that thing? Megalograptor. Oh, it's kind of like a lobster scorpion thing. That's fun. Dicranura. It's like a spiky trilobite. Pictale. It's that thing. It's the thing that we come from, right? You're the reason we pay rent now. I am not entirely sure how to spell this. It's kind of funny, like, ah. Okay, there we go. We've got a path coming all the way down here. This has nothing to do with any of the rest of the stuff in the video. I just wanted to get this path built. And honestly, I really like it. Like, considering the fact that all of this is just done by, like, me making curves myself, none of this was calculated. It was all just sort of by eye and what felt right. I think I have actually got something really good. Like, it does really smoothly come around the side of the Spinosaurus enclosure and then just loop down there. I haven't seen it on the world map yet. What does it look like? Oh, that just looks good. That looks like something you would actually see at a zoo. And yeah, as I said, it has given us the perfect opportunity for some enclosures around here. But anyway, so I have had enough of building paths and stuff, which is just because they're really boring, I'm gonna be honest. I would like to get to work on this bug house and stuff, and there's a slight issue with designing this bug house, which isn't just the fact that I put absolutely no thought into how it's going to look yet, so I have no idea, but like, I don't know how big the bugs are. I mean, like, I can look up sort of how big the bugs are in the real world and stuff, and the chances are fossils and archaeology will go with something close-ish. But, like, even still, this is Minecraft. They might be wildly off. So I'm a little cautious about making, like, a little 3x3 house or something for a bug, only to find out that it's 7 blocks long. I mean, we did the exact opposite with the Mosasaurus. I made a massive lagoon, and, like, the dude's only 5 blocks long, maybe. But I do think that putting it here is definitely a good place and stuff, not just because it does need some buildings on Main Street and everything, like this park is very underutilizing this street, but also it acts as another nice little way for me to just cut through here to get over to the beach and the Mosasaurus Lagoon, and if it works for me, then it's accurate to what an actual park would do. There's a really fun concept in design, I'm pretty sure it's called like desire paths or something, and it's basically paths based around where people actually walk rather than where the path is supposed to be. So like taking this or something, say that you want to get over there, basically the path gets built like this and everything, however people, they just cut across, it's just human nature. So a desire path would actually be putting a path in that way across diagonally and stuff. And the other fun thing about desire paths is they constantly change, because as soon as you put a path cutting across like this, suddenly people start cutting across over here to get to this path even quicker. Anyway, that's a long explanation for me basically saying I just want a way to cut through here and everything. Now, as for what the design of this building is going to look like, I'm not entirely sure, because looking at inspiration of like insect and bug houses that you get in zoos, a lot of them have a surprisingly modern design, which like we sort of have here and everything. Like a lot of our buildings do involve a lot of glass and everything, a lot of curved glass especially, which is a very modern aesthetic, but we also have a sort of theme here of like it is kind of jungly as well, and like I feel like this aesthetic inside here does work really well for the idea of a bug house, but also like I don't just want to do the same thing over and over again. Like we've got it there, we've got it in the restaurant on the other side of the visitor center, we've got the visitor center itself, like all of this uses a very similar color scheme and like a lot of glass and stuff. Like gosh, how many stone and andesite bricks are used in this entire park? Probably a metric ton. In fact, no, it's way more than that. So I'm trying to think of what could be a modern design without it just looking like everything else. And it's a problem because all of the designs I can think of in my head are like nice wood and like curved glass, which is just this and that. It's everything I've already built. I don't know. I think we're going to need to go with mostly wood over here and stuff, because we have this building which, whilst it's got a wooden roof, it has a stone wall. And of course we've got the gate here, and then there's the terrain, which is going to match up a lot more with rock, and we've also got this fake terrain that we put here as well. So there's a lot of stone in this area already. I don't think we should add more. But the issue is, when it comes to making stuff out of wood as well, it doesn't help much, because it still just leaves us with the color brown mostly. So maybe we need to play off the idea of glass a bit more more and stuff, because we can still use glass, even though it's in everything else. We can still use glass as long as there's a different thing surrounding it. Because, like, over here, the glass is surrounded by stone, so even though the majority of that wall is glass, you kind of see it as stone in a way. So if we replaced all of that with wood and everything, then yeah, the building would feel more wooden. And I think we should go with the opposite of this. So, of course, this is like a circle with another circle cut out of it. I think instead of having a courtyard out the front like this, like a nice circular bit cut out, I think we're going to do the opposite. We're going to have it poking out towards the path. So essentially the inverse of this. What about the types of wood that we're going to use? Let's go for something that does have planks. So I mean, like, obviously we've got all the vanilla woods. There's green, but like that's not going to work. I think we do need something sort of with a brownish tone. So we could go with Zelkova or maybe Sika? Hempskia wood, maybe? And of course there's cordiate and ancient wood. What about some logs and everything? Fir looks like it could be good. Sika again. Okay, now, quick question. What about stripped wood and stuff? Again, same sort of stuff coming along. Okay, so dark oak, spruce, cordiates, and whatever the other one was, like Sika. How do I get that? It's Biomes You'll Go. Great. Which means I might need to go on an adventure for this. Let's see. Nature's compass. Please tell me. Right, okay. Sika woods. Start a search. That is quite far. 500 minus 350. Oh gosh, that is far. I mean, we have actually been nearby and stuff. It's only there, and the furthest we have traveled is around here. Plus, there's a decent bit of this covered by ocean. So yeah, I'm gonna go and grab that tree. Is this the biome that I am looking for? This feels like it might be. Let's just check the wood quickly. Yep, this is Sika. Okay, this is a big tree. It might break create mod. Let's just quickly see when this gets mined up. Not that bad. It's only left like 4 branches around here. That's actually much better than I thought it would go. And the good news is, because this turns into such a massive tree, I don't think I'm actually gonna need to harvest too many of these. Let's see. Okay, yeah, and it's always planted in a massive form. Right. Man, I really only needed to travel out this distance to cut down 1 tree. I'm also a little curious about the massive pumpkins. Are these literally just like, yep, it's just a bunch of pumpkins. Whoa. There's blue. Out of curiosity, what is this? It is Skyris. Oh, that's what a Skyris tree looks like. You know what? Whilst we're here, like, we might as well grab it. Saves me coming out here if I ever want to use a weird pale blue log. And apparently that was worth an achievement picking up this apple. Right, back home we go. And whilst I was traveling, I did think a little bit about, like, sort of the shape of the interior of the building and how I want it to flow. So a lot of bug houses in real life and everything, it's kind of a linear path. Like, you know, it leads you around, it shows you all of the different things in the building, and then it spits you out somewhere else. Or, if you're lucky, sometimes it loops you around back to the start and you can go and walk the whole thing again. And I think we're going to do a little bit of a similar thing, where basically we've got an entrance over here, and because of the curved nature, it can sort of take people from all different angles. So you come in here, there's a bunch of enclosures on, like, each side and stuff. I'm calling them enclosures. I don't really know what they would actually be called, because, like, they're not full scale or anything. They're for bugs. But, you know, it leads you around here. There's a nice sort of curved path and stuff, leading you around, maybe going upstairs and then, like, coming back downstairs. And eventually, after looping you around a bit and showing them all to you, you get spat out here. So yes, the bug house does spit you out in a completely different section of the park, which is a little bit weird, but like, it just feels nice, I think. But the amount of space we've got, it feels like it should spit you out there. And at the end of the day, seeing as there's nothing going, no, you have to do it this way and stuff, like, if you get spat out here, you can always just do the thing in reverse. So that feels like something good. I'm still not entirely sure how the exterior is going to look, because, like, it's kind of got to link up with the terrain, or I guess the terrain has to link with the building, actually. It's much easier to link the terrain to the building. But, like, it's sort of got to link up here. It needs to fit in with what's around it while still being its own unique thing. And not only that, but it's likely to have a different style on the front compared to the back because of the fact that the back is spitting you out somewhere else. So we might actually need to have like two separate exterior designs. Gosh, this is getting complicated. But I would like to at least make a start on it today and stuff and like get a bunch of it planned out, because also like the enclosures and stuff, we're gonna need to do a different enclosure for each thing probably, because like I don't know, we've got like 9 different things which I'm willing to put in there right now and stuff. Like they could all live in very different environments, and some of them probably like crawl around and eat things, but there's a decent chance that I'm not even gonna be able to make some of it out of wood, because I wouldn't be surprised if like they can actually eat the wood. But I think for now, what I am going to get to work doing, I am going to just go and completely remove the nether portal. I'm gonna need to get rid of my little tree farm thing as well, if you can even call this a farm, which is a bit annoying because it's also the build where I need it. So I'm gonna need to find a place to move this to. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to need to remove all of this sort of stuff that we've built here. I'm also probably going to need to remove a decent bit of this terrain. Like, at least take a lot of this lower part of the hill and flatten it to about this level. Bearing in mind the fact that it's actually also got to go down a bit in order to spit you out down here. Gosh, this is gonna be such a complex design. Oh, we're gonna have sloping paths on the interior. But yeah, as you can see, we've got a lot of work to do and stuff. I have a lot of different things which I need to design currently. So I think it's just best that we get to work. Digging and planning and moving all my farms. Gosh, why do I do this to myself? That took so much longer than I thought it would. Not the digging and stuff. The digging was done really quick. What I mean is like putting in all of these paths and stuff and planning out where it's gonna go. That, for some reason, just took so long. I think it's because I like my paths to be a consistent width, so I had to do a lot of counting. But yeah, so welcome back, everyone. I need to actually remove this cobblestone in the ground. This doesn't need to be here anymore. So this is what we've got planned out so far. Where on earth did you come from? And yeah, as you can see, so the current plan is basically the entrance is right here so people can walk in. It's slightly curved so people can come in from all directions and like from right here. It does mean I'm gonna need to move this staircase, which like I'm fine with. I'll do it. It's just annoying. But you come in here and the path loops all the way around, and of course like all of this sort of stuff, as you can see, I've marked out like where the walls are going with cobble. But all of this stuff, you can look in all of the different little enclosures and everything, and then the path actually gets just a little bit wider here, and that's because half of it's gonna go upstairs. And you can still walk around down here and stuff, but like basically I just need room for a staircase. And I'm not entirely sure where the staircase is going to go. I think it will just follow the path below it, although that might be a little inconvenient with like how much space is here. But the path's just gonna sort of follow what's below it because I like that shape, and I'm not entirely sure if it's gonna be like all of the enclosures have another layer up here or if they're taller, because I mean we could put the flying ones in a taller enclosure so then you can also see it from up here. There's a whole bunch of different options that I've got for that and stuff, and it might just be a mixture. We might do a mixture of tall enclosures and just double stacked enclosures. And I'm also not sure if the staircase is going to come down somewhere or if it's actually going to like be you sort of reach the end and then you've got to turn around and come back. But yeah, it just continues to loop all the way around here and then spits you out at the exit over here. I have just realized I didn't account for the fact that there's got to be a wall here. I might just replace the deep slate stairs, honestly. Now, you can also see there's some other cobblestone markings. This is just like a few areas where I know I want to divide enclosures. So like this is going to be a different enclosure to this. And I haven't done that with all of it. Remember, there's like 9 different things that are going to go in here, and like again, I don't know how much is going to go on a top floor necessarily. So I'm kind of just leaving it to what I'll decide when it actually gets built. Speaking of building this, I think I've worked out a design. So I know that I said the main part of this building is going to be wood, and that does still hold true. Like, it is still going to have a mostly wood sort of exterior. However, what I might do is a deep slate lower part of it and stuff. So literally just the bottom floor is deep slate, and then there's like 2 or 3 stories worth of wood built on top of that. Because again, like, that would then make it so the majority is wood, and that is the intention. Plus, it gives us some nice room for some sign. But I think having a deep slate sort of exterior wall just on the first floor might make some stuff work a little bit better. Plus, it means that we're not just making a massive wooden box. We're making a massive wooden box on top of a small layer of deep slate. And it gives us some opportunities for depth. I want to have all of the windows be 2 blocks deep because I kind of want some stuff on the exterior side of it. It's a little difficult to explain without just building the actual thing. But like, we've definitely got a nice opportunity to use some of the small deep slate bricks and normal deep slate bricks, and also some of the stuff that's added in Create mod. So it might be time to use like the cut deep slate and stuff. That could be good. However, I do think that we're still going to focus on wood on the interior. So whilst all of this might be deep slate, it's still going to be wood here. Plus, remember, a lot of this front is still going to be glass as well. And I think that glass is going to go all the way up as well. So it might be like 2.5 stories tall, because there should probably still be a little bit of wood on top. And I haven't quite decided if it's going to be like there's wood here and then all of the enclosures are raised up by 1 block so we can have glass here, or if some of them it's actually going to be like the wood is in the floor and then we've got 2 block tall glass. Again, it might vary from enclosure to enclosure, because I'm also not sure how many of these creatures can climb. But I definitely think that this is a nice wood color and stuff. It definitely fits in with that kind of sort of jungly theme that a lot of bug houses go with, which doesn't necessarily mean that these bugs lived in the jungle and everything, but like, it just looks nice. But yeah, I am definitely quite happy with the sort of idea that we have for this so far. And this might be our biggest building in the actual park and stuff. That's if you don't count the aviary as a building. And I'm not sure if it's going to be our most complex. It might be, but it's definitely not our most difficult to build. I would definitely say that that goes for the visitor center or the Mosasaurus viewing stand. Just because they're very curvy, but like, they're calculated. Whereas with this one, whilst it's curved and stuff, it's not calculated. It's just kind of me building it and seeing what looks correct. So it's not that difficult. Whereas the visitor center and stuff, no, everything there is a perfect circle. So it was a little tedious to do. But this is definitely going to be our biggest building by size, as long as you don't count the aviary, which personally I don't. I think the aviary is an enclosure rather than a building. My one hope is just that I can get it to look good and match him with everything else around, because it's kind of gonna, like, it's running the risk of maybe looking like a city building. I think as long as I decorate it perfectly fine and like I have some nice stuff on the outside going bug house and like maybe with some nice dioramas of bugs, maybe something similar to this, then I think it will look fine. However, all of that stuff is actually a concern for next episode and stuff. I am sorry, this is a planning episode, it's not a building episode. But to be fair, we did some adventure and everything as well. But this building is going to take a lot more planning and actual like thought into it, which I don't have the time for right now, unfortunately. So yeah, as much as I hate to say it, all I have left to do is say thank you guys for watching, and next episode, we are probably gonna start reviving these guys. Oh yeah, and of course the building. That will be done next time. Some of you guys are gonna be very interesting.